not going to read you stories. Today's video is sponsored by Evian for all your refreshment needs. I'm just kidding. It's not sponsored by them. It's sponsored by nobody. It's sponsored by me. Throwback to my old hat. This is where it all began. First logo. Beautiful. Books. Why make them? Why read them? Why are they important? Photo books specifically. I have 3 for you today. The first book we're going to be looking at, and actually it's a magazine, which I'm super fond of these. It's a series called Essay, and it's called Poetic Flight Through Western Oz. It's by Dan Milner. He works at Blurb, which is where I do 95% of all of my printing for books, magazines, whatever it is. I found that through him, and then he has an awesome channel on YouTube, and it's a channel that isn't like others because it's not gear driven. It's photography driven. The importance of doing projects, the importance of printing, the importance of holding your work in your hand and just getting it out there. And sometimes, you don't even have to get it out there. You can just do it for you, put it up on the shelf, take it down when you want to look at it. You have somebody over, be like, hey, I did this, check it out, tell me what you think. And so that's the first one. The second one, obviously, we're going to be looking at my book, Finding Home, because I am here for 100% self-promotion and self-interest, and I don't care about anybody else. I'm just kidding. I care about all of you. All of you. Third book. It's called Pia by Christopher Anderson. He is probably one of my favorite photographers of all time. I just really love the way that he shoots and his outlook on photography, and just the meaning that goes into all of his photos. I think it's incredible. So those are the 3 that we'll be looking at. My book, I'm going to show you all of it, but then I'm going to tell you the things that I changed on like the revised version, stuff that I did different, because I think that's very valuable. You know, you print one, you get it, you look at it and you're like, okay, this needs to be changed, this needs to be changed, and just going through that, and then why I put the pictures in that I did, and the meanings with them, and just trying to give you a better sense of how to put a book together. And I am no expert by any means. In fact, you might watch this video and you'll be like, dude, you're an idiot. And you wouldn't be the first and you won't be the last. And you're probably right. So let's check them out. What follows is a recap of the trip I made through Western Australia in 2015. Unlike many of my other projects, this was simply a chance to explore with friends. I had no agenda. I had no storyline. I had no deadline or impending demand for any of the work. Upon return, I completed a small book titled Meat and Candy, but otherwise did nothing with that work. I hold Western Australia in the highest of regard because it still, barely in places, represents the idea of wilderness, true wilderness. You get lost, you die, most likely. Western Australia is also a unique blend of cultures, including the oldest on Earth, and consequently offers a glimpse of the history of man. The copy you will read on the following pages was simply taken from my journal. The images are a random selection of both black and white 6x6 negative and iPhone images. This was the first and last time I attempt to use a mobile phone as a main component of a project. I want to thank the twins for making this trip possible and for their capacity to entertain, feed, shelter, and otherwise pamper the boy from Los Angeles. Hopefully someday I can repay the favor. Until then, keep doing what you do. So one of the things that I like about this magazine is that it's a story. And it's a story that you could see yourself in. And then you also get to see just how like desolate it is there in the places that he may have been. Starting with that opening image, just, you know, a muffler and pipe in the middle of nowhere probably. Now, on to the real book, the one you're all here for. Finding Home. It's mine. It's my beauty. This is the original. This is the one that I gave to my wife. The whole reason that I did this project was she had wanted a book for, I think, Mother's Day that represented motherhood. The good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, everything. And I guess I hadn't really realized that I had been accruing work. My favorite things to photograph are the things that are closest to me. So normally that's family and kids. And I didn't really think of it as work. I just thought of it as memories, stuff that I could look back on. But when she asked for it and I started digging through the photos, I was like, okay, there might be something here. So I started to put together this book. I think I started out with like 300 images or something like that. Then I narrowed it down to like 100, and then I came out with like 70 or 80 or something like that. I did get this book purchased through Blurb. I made it through Blurb. Their software that you can download is amazing. They have templates. You can do anything you want. Customize any book, full spread. They have like trade books, hardcover books, softcover books. You can do journals, tons of stuff. So this is the original one that she got. And in the front, I have a little write-up that was just for her that didn't go out in the revised version. I made a revised write-up, but this is just to her. And then there's quite a few things that I changed from this one to the revised version. So let's check it out. Okay, so here's my book. I guess let's get started. This page I changed to green, and then I have a different introduction in the revised one. And then we get, right into it. This book, it isn't chronologically time-based. So like these two photos are from the house we live in now. And so I wanted to make it a story, and it has a story flow, but not all the photos are chronological. So I started out with these two. I like the light coming through. And then my wife had her purse hanging on, and I thought the color between the two went well together. It was a nice opening, for home, for motherhood. There's dog marks on the door, on the window there. And then we open up with baby bed at the hospital. And then we flip over to here. That is my oldest son. I did not have him with my wife, but from the first time she met him, it was like he was her own. And I didn't notice it at first, but this was our old house, and this was taken at our old house too, but the shape of her arms mirrors that, and that wasn't intentional. It was just something that happened afterwards. I put it together. So baby bump, we took pictures throughout with her belly, with Maverick, our first one. And then this photo has absolutely nothing to do with this one, but I almost thought of it as like shooting star, going into bringing a baby down. I thought they worked well together. And I always just like these candid stuff, just anything around the house that you can look back on and be like, oh, I remember that moment. I thought that was a good photo to add. And looking back on it, I should have went down a little bit because there's a mirror right here, and then you could have seen me in the background too, but you live and learn. So like I said, with it not technically being chronological, but in a story form. So here's my oldest painting Taylor's nails. And then on this page, you have them making a pizza. So, mom cooking dinner with the kids, but actually he's not here yet in the story, but she's wearing a sling, and then Maverick is right on the other side there. but if you're not really looking, you wouldn't notice. So then I can't remember if she got this sign or I got that sign, but it says baby up in this bitch. So obviously there's a baby coming. And then I just really liked her expression in this one and his expression in this one. I thought those went well together. And then here I liked that I wanted to show not just motherhood, but being a wife, the whole family life. And what I liked about this was you have a shadow and then light on each side. So dark in the middle, light on each side, and then you have light in the middle, dark on each side. So it was kind of an opposite. This is probably one of my favorite photos that I've ever taken. It just captures the moment. Empty toilet paper roll, probably my fault, but just her getting ready, holding him in the bathroom. And then he's gotten a little bigger. You have the dog there licking the fork. He's helping mom do the dishes. And then these two paired together, I really, really liked for the fact that I felt like this was like a guide to motherhood. And then you transition over to here and it's like, what have I done? You know, hands around the mouth, like just representing the struggles that come with motherhood too. A glass of wine, sitting on the couch. And then Maverick potty training. Congratulations for the potty training. Even though these two don't go together, obviously he's in different outfits. I liked the pairing, like he did a good job. And then you have, obviously it's some sort of event. We were at the races here, and these photos weren't taken on the same day, but again, I like the pairing. Busy day, sleeping on the way home. This one, I think we were actually coming back from Denver. So obviously another baby on the way. Baby bump. And then this is one of my wife's favorite pictures. That's when our daughter was born. And then she has a tear coming down right here. Painting nails again, just a little common theme throughout it. And then these next few sets of photos, I think really entail motherhood, and not to the extent that it's difficult, but always holding the kids, always holding the kids, always taking care of the kids. So holding, I believe that was my daughter, and then a little hand and her face up there. And then it's like she was worried in this one, grew up a little, is able to look back. I just really love the darkness of this, and then just the light playing on her back and on her face and arm. I played with some double exposures. I really like those recently, and this is one that I did with my wife and my daughter, and then my oldest son is out there and Maverick is running around somewhere. And then all of them at the bowling alley. Maverick, I had a broken film camera, so I gave it to him, and he always takes pictures and shows me the back. And I'd always tell him I'm really impressed. So again, that common theme of wife, mother. We were at a hotel, we had a little date night out. And then transition over to here, drinks, dinner. This one I really liked because I think a lot of mothers have that face, like looking outside, like, what are you doing in the yard? Are you supposed to be doing that? So again, not technically chronological because she's much smaller here. Then she's small here again too, but gets bigger over here. And I just really like my wife's expression on here with her crawling to her. If you don't have a child that sleeps in your bed with you, you should try it. It's a treat. And then just more being a mom, more caring again, another common theme. Dancing with our daughter. And then we went from holding to now she's walking, holding hands. Over here we have camping. And that's why obviously these two were paired together, just for that reason. This was from a photo shoot, just something impromptu we did down at the studio, and I just love that. Maybe trying to be mom helping her. And then I like the doorways in these two. So you're shooting through the doorway here, there's a doorway here. Getting ready over here after a long day, walking back. This was from that same photo shoot at the studio, and I like the pairing between these two. 3 of them, 3 trees. Shopping with the kids. Getting them ready to get out on their own in a few years. Potty training again, another common theme. Mom just having a good time with the kids. They were slept out on in the living room on some blow-up mattresses that night. I did not participate in that because I'm getting old and it would ruin my back. This photo I really like because it wasn't set up on a tripod. My oldest son actually took this photo, and we lifted both the kids up so they could put the tree or the star up on the tree. And then you have the end walking away. And then this photo, it's actually, the whole thing is it was a laundry basket full of laundry that was on the table. So that was my first photo book, the one that I really put a lot of effort into. So like I said, the things that I changed this to a light green. There's no slip cover on the front. The intro is different. And then some other things that I did change were these photos. I thought they were a little too big. There wasn't quite enough white space around them, so I shrunk those down. I did add a few other photos into the revised version. So one thing that I like is go from 2 color photos to a blank page, right? So it gives you some space. And then to a black and white photo, turn it, another photo, space. So the blank pages, because it's hard to, you can put a story together with no blank pages, but I like that space between each turn. So it's not just photo after photo after photo, because you turn, everybody's eye is always going to go to the right. So you start here, flip it, go to here, and then you go back over to here. And you're like, okay, so there's no information over here, so this is the main portion. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I'll be doing more books in the future probably. I don't know that I'll do another family one or motherhood one pertaining to my family, to sell. But for this one, I was super happy. Oh, another thing that I changed was I didn't put my name on the cover right here, on the binding. So when you flip it open, there's a green page here, and then there's a white page that just says Keenan Angel. And then you flip it again, and then it gives the introduction. So I always encourage everybody that does photography to print your work. Last book, Pia, one of my favorite photographers. Dive into this one. just the way that he captures things and the way that he puts books together is phenomenal. Dear Pia, the making of these photographs must seem as natural to you as butter and toast. I probably photographed you every day of your life that I've been with you. There are too many days when travels and work took me away. But, truth be told, we've had more conversations about brushing teeth than about creating photos. It's only fair that I thank you for helping me stop time, for giving me these scraps of joy to store away for a day when I need them. Maybe they will remind you too, that it all happened just like this, and here's the proof. You probably won't remember today. You're jumping on the bed right behind me. I could just turn around and speak these words to you, but if I say them out loud, they'll disappear like soap bubbles, along with every other moment this morning. I want to save something from today, to steal a few fleeting instants and seal them up in a box, preserved for you to discover again, long after this day has passed. A flower print kimono, banana slices with Nutella, yellow peonies that were pink last night, a Superwoman costume worn the day after the confinement ended, and an empty Capri Sun, and of course, Maman and Atlas and Echo. I photograph it all. Love, Papa. Amazing book. If you want to check it out, I think he still has some available at Stanley Barker Books. If you're a photographer, it's worth every penny. So there we go. That was story time. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I just wanted people to show everybody that you should be printing your work. It's very beneficial, and holding something that you made in your hand gives it a life of its own. There's something special about holding something tactile, right, that you created in your hands, and then being able to show that to people. Be like, when people ask what you do, you grab one of your books and you be like, this is what I do. So, until next time, keep shooting.